Gianinni Semedo Moreira.
Yes.
I could say it.
You said it right. Yes.
Yes, I got it. What's up, man?
I'm good. Feeling good. Feeling happy, feeling right. Yeah.
Nice. Nice to have you here.
Happy
man.
to be here. Yes. It's
Man,
nice.
we were just before it started, I was like, so you've been living so long in LA. Is it like declining like it shows? And you were like, yeah, it's pretty much declining. But
Yes.
tell me your story from the beginning because you're
Man,
Dutch.
okay. Yeah. I'm in LA right now, 16 years, but let's go all the way
Yeah.
from the beginning. So, born and raised in Rotterdam. Okay.
Rolfa.
Rofa 010 represent to nice. You're good. Yes, I like it. My parents, my mom is from Suriname. Moved to the Netherlands when she was 18, and my dad is from Cabo Verde. So I am half Cape Verdean, half Surinaams. So they met in like Cape Verdean Islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, West Coast Africa. There's like 10 islands called the Cape Verdean Islands. And they're pretty much most of the community in the Netherlands of the Cape Verdeans are in Rotterdam. So that's where my parents met, and I was born there, raised there. Big family, especially from my Cape Verdean side.
When you say big, how big?
Big is like, okay, my dad, I think there were 7 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids, and they have kids again. So it's a pretty big family. Yeah, a lot of cousins, nieces, nephews.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. Christmases were fun. Going around to family, and yeah. So
Did you have to go with like a little notebook to remember all the names?
yeah, no, that goes. I think the notebooks I needed for the birthday still needed because there's too many birthdays to remember, man. But yeah, so I think I'm at home. I was the oldest kid. 4 brothers. We are 4 boys in total.
Damn, respect to your mom, man. 4
Yes,
brothers.
yes. So she, imagine a mom had to do that mostly alone. My parents split. So she's a tough mom. She had to kind of keep us in check. And I was the oldest. And I say at home because my dad also had kids. So I have, I believe, 7 or 8 brothers and sisters total. Yeah, it's a big family. So, but at home, I was the oldest of the 4. So my mom was extra strict on me. She was like, hey, whatever you do right, your brothers will follow. Whatever you do wrong, your brothers will follow. So school was very important for her. And I was a pretty chill kid, I would say. I wasn't never a kid like, look at me. I was a pretty decent kid. I loved to smile. I loved to have good vibes. I was very active. I played soccer growing up, skateboarded. I mean, I tried everything, to be honest.
Right.
School, I would say average to good student, because my mom was like, did you do your homework? Let's go check it out. Like, she was one of those, so I couldn't escape that. And then after got into my teenage years, moved around in Rotterdam a little bit, and then I started dance, and I was maybe 14, 15 years old.
Are you like a b-boy?
Yes, I started.
Man, it's like you're oozing it.
Yes, I started as a b-boy. For the people that don't know, b-boying, it's called break dance, right? And I think a couple of years ago, maybe last year or 2 years ago, I think at the Olympics they had break dance. So people are maybe more familiar with it now. But
of course, with the debacle from Australia.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah. The kangaroo jumps. So, yes, the famous girl from Australia, the B girl.
Professor. She's a professor. She has a PhD in breakdance.
Yes. That's a whole different conversation right there. But I started b-boying, and it was my introduction into the world of hip-hop, right? When you talk about hip-hop, the true essence of hip-hop, the different elements, graffiti, MCing, DJing, and b-boying. Those are the elements of hip-hop. So when I was 14, 15, a whole world opened up, because I stepped into the b-boy scene, and you got to think this is like the underground scene, right? There's like events and battles where people go, and there's DJs. And it was also my introduction to funk music, right? A lot of the b-boy music is from the earlier generation of hip-hop, and the foundation of hip-hop comes from funk and even jazz and those styles. So I was a teenager.
Run DMC, all that stuff.
Yes, Run DMC, yes. And a whole world opened up, and I fell in love. Like, I was going to school, and after the breaks, I was going home straight up to my room, practicing. My mom was going crazy downstairs because, I was trying to move. I was trying to move and crashing on the floor. So, but that's my start. That's my start into dance and specifically b-boying. And I got obsessed with it, to be honest.
Was there a community there that you could
Yes.
be a part of and like mentors or?
Exactly. In Rotterdam, it's still there. It's called Hip Hop House. That is a staple in Rotterdam, I would say. And they have a new location now, but at that time, it's pretty much where the whole city, everybody in the hip hop community knew of this. Almost like what's it called? It was like literally a community center almost for hip hop. So different things in hip hop were happening there, but I specifically went there for b-boy training, right? So I became part of this community, and that was the first feel. It was like, wow, these people, they go to these battles, these events, and that's pretty much my introduction into dance, into hip hop, into the urban lifestyle, if you will. But I was always around music. From my Cape Verdean side, my uncle, so that's my dad's younger brother. He's like, without any exaggeration, he's like the Michael Jackson of the Cape Verdean Islands.
Really?
And I actually of the Portuguese-speaking African countries. So you have Angola, you have Mozambique, you have Guinea-Bissau. So these are some of the African nations where they speak Portuguese. But his name is Gianinni Semedo. And if you ask any Cape Verdean all across the world, they will know him and be like, Gianinni Semedo, yes. Okay. So that is my uncle. I grew up with him, but he is super famous. And so me growing up, he started when he was 16. I don't think I wasn't even born yet. So he was already this big famous artist when I grew up in the family. So music and that whole entertainment lifestyle was already around me, but I never knew. And even if you would have asked my mother, I never knew I was going to be part of that. That was just, if you ask my mother, because I was a pretty chill kid. So if you would have said when I was 10 years old, he's going to dance and perform all over the world and do she would have probably laughed like, what, my son? But then when I started b-boying, that's when everything started shifting for me. I became more confident, and also I got some attention from the girls. You feel me? So I was like, oh, okay, wait a second. So people like this, the girls like this, and I was 15, 16, getting into that teenager phase, and people at the school, I was practicing at school, and people were like, oh, cool, you can stand on your hands, you can stand on your head, you can do these things.
Dude, it's such a cool thing.
It's
such a cool thing. Yeah.
So it kind of, gave me some confidence boost. And early, then pretty much after maybe 1 or 2 years of doing that, I discovered, wait, there's more, right? That b-boying is one element in dance, but dance is a big universe, right? There's so much. Okay. So pretty much starting learning okay, I want to also learn choreography, right? B-boying is usually freestyle. Put on the music and you dance that however you feel. But choreography in different styles of dance is when you actually learn the steps as a group and you can perform it, right? That's kind of what you see in music videos and concerts and everything. So that was a whole new world for me. So I got into that, got into different groups in mostly Rotterdam, and I started learning, okay, like I can learn these steps. So I started expanding a little bit my knowledge of dance. And then a new movie came into the theater called Step Up. I don't know if you remember that. That was Step Up 1, and there was a TV channel in the Netherlands called TMF.
It's basically the fame of b-boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So when that movie came to the Netherlands, there was a commercial on TV. They showed the trailer, and it said, for dance competition, go to this website. I mean, this is pre-social media. This is like, so they were ahead of their time. You had to go to this website. This must have been in 2000. I'm going to say 6 or 7, right?
Wow.
Instagram didn't exist. I think Facebook was just coming.
When it was completely like
it was early days.
Janky.
Yes.
Yeah.
YouTube was probably early days. So I had to go to this website to send in a dance video in order to be selected to go to this competition at the after party of the premiere of this movie. So it was part of the premiere marketing, I guess. So they're like, okay, let's have all these dancers come and send in material.
Smart marketeers.
Yes, we're going to pick 5 dancers. They all going to get invited to the premiere of Step Up in Amsterdam. If I'm not mistaken, it was at Tuschinski. And these 5 will go to, I think it was in Paradiso, Paradiso, which is a famous spot in Amsterdam, to do the battle or to kind of compete in the after party. It was a promo. So I must have been at this point 17, 18. I was like, okay. I knew how to, as a dancer, I was filming myself. And remember, this is before the phones with the camera. So I had a little camera recorder. So I knew the basics of pressing record, dancing, watching myself back, and like, what can I do better? So I had a very basic understanding of editing. And this was, later I'll get back to this. This was important because now I was able to upload a video. I send it in, and lo and behold, I'm one of the 5 for the after party. So not only did I get 2 tickets to the premiere, I also get to now compete at this after party. So who was at this judge, and this is very important, the judge at this competition was none other than, her name is Lucia Marthas. Now, Lucia Marthas in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands has one of the most famous, biggest dance academies in the country. And I knew of her. At this point, I was studying IT, computer technology. So I was a little bit of a nerd, but also dancing. So I was a cool nerd, I guess. But I was already doing a study. And then she saw me at the competition. Long story short, I won it that night. And I think I won just a voucher of like €100. But she said on the mic live, hey, I think you're talented. I actually want to offer you a scholarship to my academy. I said, no way. So went back home, told my mom, and then I think for the next 3-4 weeks, we tried to get a meeting. Because she now made a promise. And we're like, let's see if we can reach her. It was hard to reach. After about a month, we finally got to sit down. We went to Amsterdam, sat down, and she was like, do you know how to do ballet? I said, no. I know hip-hop. I know a lot of styles in hip-hop and in that whole world, but not. She says, okay, too bad. Otherwise, you could have already started in this bachelor degree. But what we're going to do is this. I'm going to give you 4 days a week for free here at my school. She pointed at her assistant. She was like, hey, put him in these classes 4 days a week. Cool? Yes. And I was like, oh, what's happening? So for 1 year, after that competition, for 1 year, I got free classes at this academy. And I still went to school in Rotterdam. I had to travel to Amsterdam, do that. Sometimes I couldn't travel back because it was too late. Stayed in Amsterdam. And it was 1 year of just a lot of hours and hours and hours of learning more about this world of dance.
How old were you back then?
I was then 17, 18.
17,
18.
Okay.
So now I'm in little ass tights, right? Only boy in this class full of girls doing ballet. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is new. This is new. I had to get used to the outfits. But I knew like, hey, if I want to get better, this is good. Because I was watching an American TV show called So You Think You Can Dance, right? And
it's a great show.
This was a show where for the first time I saw, wait, so these B-boys and hip-hop dancers have to dance with modern dancers, ballet dancers. They have to do this. And I was like, I want to be able to do that too.
They basically want to expand your vocabulary.
Yes.
Your physical vocabulary.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I think, you need to have a certain self-confidence to stand in a ballet class, right? Especially from the urban side. You have these tights, it was just it's a completely different world. But at that time I understood, luckily, hey, this can make me better. So for 1 year I trained. I had to do audition for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah. I had to. Let me. You guys can cut this out.
No.
We keep it in. Okay.
We keep everything in.
For 1 year, I had to, expand my vocabulary, and then I had to do an audition for the academy. I think Lucia, the woman, the director of the school, she probably already was like, he's already in, but I still had to prove myself. And then I was 18, 19. I moved to Amsterdam. And I was officially at the dance academy here, bachelor's degree for dance. And then
was it in the Jodenbreestraat?
It was at the
which one is it?
The street is behind the Albert Kuipmarkt. I forgot the street name. Should remember this, but this is a while ago. It's 18 years ago. But
is it still a school there? Or
yes, I believe it's still there.
Okay.
I believe it's still there.
Okay.
Yes, you have the Albert Kuipmarkt, and I think back there, at least at that time, was her academy.
Okay.
So yeah, 18 now. Now moved to Amsterdam. whole new world opened up again because Rotterdam, Amsterdam are not the same, right? But I liked it. It was the student life. Every morning, 8:30 a.m. ballet class, you know, and I was the hip hop dancer in the class that had so much room to grow, but I had one thing going for me. I know how to dance hip hop, so that's my strength, you know. So, but other stuff I was not the best in.
That was a USP, huh? Unique selling point, actually.
That was, yes. And I think Lucia, the director, saw that, but I also lacked a lot of skills in other areas, which I think was great for me because everybody around me was better in those other styles. Everybody. So there was only one way to go, and it was going up. So
what a nice melting pot of talent. Huh?
Yes. A lot of people that did ballet since they were 6 years old, and here I come at 18, never done it. So I had a lot of room to pull myself up and grow. So in that 1 year there, I got tap dance, jazz, modern, ballet, musical theater. I mean, it was all new information, and me just being open-minded and saying, I'm going to work, I want to get better. So I grew a lot in that year. I was 18, yes. Then I started missing my city. I started missing Rotterdam. And also, as great as the school is, it's also a lot of musical theater, meaning we also had private singing classes, choir classes, you know, the musical theater, dance and singing. And I knew then already, I don't want to do musicals as a singer. I want to dance. I want to be, at that point, we had a psychology class the first year, which is theory class, right? We had some practical class, but also theory classes, dance history, psychology. And the first class, something amazing happened. The teacher said, here's a pen and paper, everyone. Write down where you see yourself in 5 years. So I was 18. I was like, okay, I'm 23 then. I don't know how I get there, but I believe, what I'm going to write down, I believe. And I wrote down in 5 years, I'm going to be in the US dancing and touring, performing with the biggest artists on the biggest stages. I just wrote it down. I was like, I'm not going to worry how. I just believe in my soul it's going to happen. And it happened. So we're going to get there in a sec. But
okay, thanks for the podcast, everybody. No.
Yeah. I want to get there in a sec. But I think that was very important. I feel like I had a vision.
Yeah,
and I had something to aim for.
Of course.
And everything then in a very short time.
Sorry that I just want to say something important also for anyone listening right now to this. You just show, it's a great example to don't worry about how it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Set your mind to it and things just start falling into place. I haven't heard the story yet, but the fact that it happened, the result, I'm sure there were like, you know, trials and errors and all that stuff, like any other human being. But the fact that you wrote it and you were, you know, like they say in Dutch, doelgericht, like you were focused on that goal, it will come. Like we can't grasp it.
Yes.
In our little ego, we can't grasp how it's going to happen. But the fact that we're willing to open ourselves for something, it will happen.
I 100% believe that. You know, I'm living proof of that. So that's how I, in general, live my life. Like, hey, just show up.
Yeah.
You know, and in Dutch they say there's this saying called de aanhouder wint, meaning the person not giving up is a person winning. Yeah. You know, just stick at it. So I grew in a very short time. I grew very fast. Missed my city. So then there's this other performing arts school which is pretty high when it comes to technical level, pretty high in Rotterdam. The conservatory called Codarts.
Codarts, yeah.
Yes, and I was like, they're not gonna take me. You know, these. Lucia Marthas Dance Academy was more broad school, musical theater, hip hop. You had a lot of different styles. When you talk about Codarts, it's like modern and ballet, pretty much, right? And if there's this called NDT, Nederlands Danstheater, it's like that kind of level.
Yeah.
And
one
to
of
me,
the best in the world.
Yeah, one of the best in the world,
yeah.
Right? And that Codarts is a great education to kind of go there. And I was like, man, I don't think I'm that type of dancer. I don't think I even have the technical skills. I don't think I have it.
Sorry, what I want to ask, wait, you're writing that thing. The psychology teacher is giving you, because I want to make the I want to make the bridge. I want to make the bridge because you just jumped into
absolutely.
But like he gives you that piece of paper, you write it. I want to within 5 years, I want to be in the US touring with the biggest artists. Yep. What happens the next day?
Yes. The next day, I just, continue my life. But then maybe within a year, I wrote it down. I believed that is going to happen. And then back to work. And within that year, I miss my city. I felt I need to make a different choice here. Yeah. So I auditioned for Codarts.
Okay.
Just to see, I was like, I don't think they're going to take me.
So you were only 1 year with...
at Lucia, yes.
Lucia,
yeah. But I was like, I think I need a change because a lot of the hours I'm spending at this great school is actually not what I want for my future. So there's nothing negative to say about the academy that I was on. But my personal goal, I knew very well what I wanted. And I was like, hey, I think I can spend my time better for my goal that I'm trying to achieve. So I was 1 year there, auditioned for Codarts within that same year. And lo and behold, they accept me. So I'm like, man, I did not see that coming. I was honored. And I said, okay, I'm going to switch. Because now it gives me the chance to be uncomfortable. Meaning I can work on the skills that I feel like I should work on to get there. So
and that's a bachelor's.
That was also bachelor's,
right?
yes. Yeah. So I switched schools. And I think there's a saying called, men make plans, God laughs or something. So I had a plan, right? I had a plan. Like, I'm going to switch there. It's a 4 years bachelor's. Boom. I'm there. I think that summer, there's this big announcement in the Netherlands. And that is the American TV show that I watched called So You Think You Can Dance is coming to the Netherlands. First season. So I'm like, man. I'm about 18, 19. I'm like, should I audition? Because I've watched the show. The level is super high. I'm not at that level yet. I don't think I should audition. My family, a shout out to my cousin, Lizaira. It was the one cousin. She was like, I think you should. Why not? I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. I should.
You have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose,
right.
Exactly. And that changed my entire life. That right there. Now, I had to kind of give you that backstory because if Lucia didn't happen, even Codarts, in that small time, I developed so quick that when the time came for this TV show to audition, I was ready. I didn't even realize it yet, but I was ready. So now I'm in Codarts. School vacation is done.
It's interesting. You were carrying like insecurity that is not connected to the to the present moment.
Yes, yeah, because I think maybe that's something that artists do, especially if you have high ambitions to get better. You're comparing yourself. You're comparing to the people you look up to. Okay, I want to be at that level. I want to be at that skill. So I was looking at myself like, nah, I'm not good enough yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting better, but I'm not there yet, right? So that was also my drive to keep going, to get better. And by the time I started Codarts, around the same time, the audition happened for So You Think You Can Dance. And I made it to the boot camp. And then, people fall off because in the show, they look for like the top 20 to make it to the live shows. And then lo and behold.
That I didn't know. I didn't
yes,
know that,
I made it to the top 20. And meaning those 20 will compete on live television. And every week, 2 people will fall off, right? So I had to tell Codarts, listen, I know I just started this education for the bachelor's, but I'm in this TV show.
So wait, you got accepted and then in the summer already?
Yeah, it was the audition.
Before you even got into Codarts, then do you think you can... So it wasn't like a year that you're in Codarts?
No. I mean, I got accepted in Codarts and I was going to start after the holidays.
Yeah, you were going to start in September, actually.
Yes, September, yes. And in that summer, same summer, I also auditioned for this TV show.
Yeah.
And I made it. So when I went to school first day, I had to have a conversation with them. I said, look, I'm on this TV show, meaning I'm not sure how far I make it, but I might miss a couple of days of school, weeks, because this was a full-time gig. If I were to be in the TV show, you stay 6 days a week in this house. There's bungalow houses for the show, and 1 week off, I think every Sunday. So I couldn't go to school. So school was like, look, okay, we give you permission to do it. Everything you miss, you're going to have to catch up later. But I told them I can also be out of the program next week and I'm back in school. I didn't know how it was going to go. So I think I was in the show until the half finals. So I think I was on TV for 8 or 10 weeks. And those 8 or 10 weeks changed. When I tell you everything.
Man, back then it was also
because,
TV was the gatekeeper of fame.
There was no Instagram, no people watched streaming services, nothing. People watched TV. And for my feeling, everybody that was kind of between, let's say, 8 years old, 6 years old, to maybe 30, 40 years old was watching this show. That's what I felt. So it was a new, fresh show, a popular show. And I became, I guess, a crowd favorite a little bit. So every week on that one day off, I was going home to my city in Rotterdam. And it was crazy to see that every week, more people on the street started recognizing me. I was like, what is happening? It was insane.
Wow.
And that changed everything because in those 8 to 10 weeks, I became, quote unquote, a Dutch celebrity for that time.
Bekende Nederlander.
Bekende Nederlander, yes. Yes. Doing talk shows, TV shows, interviews. And my mom, which is beautiful, full circle, became a manager. Because she's like, look, I've never done this. And a lot of managers after the show were trying to, hey. And I said, look, this doesn't feel right. I feel like you know me. You should become a manager. My mom was like, I've never done it. I said, I think you will be great at it. And then we made a plan. She said, okay, I'm your manager. What do you want to do? I said, to be honest, I don't want to stay here. As much as I love the Netherlands, it's too small for what I want to do. Mm. I want to tour with the biggest artists in the world. That's not where it happens. The auditions, the whole system, it's not. She's like, okay, where you want to go? I said, I want to go to the US. Back to, remember when I wrote it down.
5-year plan.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm now 20 years old. So 2 years have passed only. And my mom said, okay. I said, okay, so what do we need? So we reverse engineer this. I need to get a work visa, right? Which costs $5,000-$6,000. It's a whole process. I need to get a ticket to move there. I need to move there and then set up my life there. So long story short, I need money. It's just reality. So then we came with a plan. My mom was like, what? What if because you like teaching as well, what if we set up a workshop tour using the popularity of you just being on TV and to go to every and all dance studio in the Netherlands?
What an entrepreneurial mom you have, man.
Small or big, we go everywhere. And then we started talking, and I can share the numbers because it's a long time ago. But I was like, okay, I can charge high. And Mom was like, well, but what if we keep it accessible for everybody? The kids, young people, right? Especially the kids, the parents are paying. And not everybody has the money maybe, So I said, look, and then we came up with a system. Like, okay, if I charge €12.50, it's not a lot for a dance class. I think that's a sweet spot. So we did the calculations. Man, some weekends I walked away with €4,000 or €5,000 just by teaching 3 classes there, going there, and getting paid per student. And it was a win-win because the studio was happy. There was somebody from TV coming. I was making money.
So you had on average like 40 a class.
40 classes?
40 people per class. 40.
I mean, sometimes it was 25, 30. Sometimes it was 60, 70, 80. Wow. I mean, it was, and I think the power here was a great product, right? Yeah. But actually have an accessible price. Because I think I could do 2 choices at that point in my career. I could say, hey, you saw me on TV. I made it to the half finals. I'm a name now. I'm going to charge, €40 per person. But we were very intentional by doing that, and it actually worked because most dance studios were like, we would love to work that. We would love to have you. So that year I went probably over 100. I mean, we talk about Limburg, Friesland, all over the country. And it just became a business model, to be honest. Because every euro, because I was 20 years old, I could have played Mr. Big Spender, but every euro went, my mom was keeping the finances, and I was saving for that goal. I want to go to the US.
And to have a buffer when you get there.
When I get there, yes, because I knew if I get there, I'm going to have to start from zero again.
Yeah,
here people know me.
You need some.
Some cash.
Yeah,
you
need some oxygen.
Oxygen, man. So that year was great. We did a lot of gigs, a lot of teaching, saved my money, did a whole work visa process with an immigration lawyer, and then I was 21. I got it, and then I moved to LA. So this was kind of crazy because here I am, 18 years old, writing down my vision, what I see for myself in 5 years, and it happened in 3. And not because, sure, I was prepared in a way, like I was putting in the blood, sweat, and hours, but it's also because the right place, right time. Yeah. It was also the luck, people that helped me. It wasn't just doing on my own doing. I think it started with me and what I know what I want. But like you said earlier, I think if you know what you want, whatever you believe in, whatever it's God for you. For me, it's God, but people sometimes call it the universe. It will open up because you know what you want, and that's it's kind of crazy thinking back how that happened in those 3 years. I knew what I wanted, and then everything else just started shifting.
I think it's a dialogue. I think I look at it more as a dialogue,
Yeah.
especially after doing this podcast and meeting such, accomplished, successful, talented people. It's like, what I mean with a dialogue is you have a thing you want to create, you want to accomplish for yourself. Your job is to prepare yourself for it. That's your job. Your job is to prepare yourself. The opportunity is going to meet. And that's luck. Yes. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Just like they come together. But if you don't prepare yourself, the opportunities will come constantly.
But you're not going to be ready.
But you're not going to be ready. And then you're just going to fall off.
Yes.
So that was the paying your dues to prepare for it. You don't have to create the opportunity. You have to create the preparation. The facilitate basically the possibility for you to prepare for it.
Absolutely. And I think you said something really, really, really that I agree with. I think just the act of preparing yourself, it magically creates the opportunity, right? Absolutely. Whether it's people noticing around you, it doesn't matter what you do. If it's music, if it's camera work, if it's dancing, somebody's like, hey, I know somebody actually that does this. We need somebody. And phone calls start ringing.
Exactly.
So that's one thing I've learned from that whole process and journey. Now I'm 21.
So you're 21. Are you in LA at that point?
Now I moved to LA.
Okay, you moved to LA.
And
Gianinni
everything
is like you're getting there, and it's like, okay.
Yes.
What do you start doing? Because that's like we're talking 16 years ago.
Yes.
So social media is in its diapers in that sense.
Yeah, there's no Instagram yet still. It's 2010. Facebook was there. YouTube was there. I think those are the two main ones.
But it wasn't that businesses or institutions like outsourced themselves into this. They didn't digitalize themselves.
Not yet. No, it was not yet. It was on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
I'm there, 21, moved. My mom came with me the first few weeks to help me settle in my new apartment. I'm in North Hollywood. This is the place where most professional dancers live, because a lot of the auditions for Justin Timberlake and Beyonce, whoever, happens in that vicinity there.
Right.
So and that's also where the dance studios are, the agencies are, in Hollywood and stuff. So I'm now in the mix of it, and I have a 3-year work visa. So in 3 years, I can stay legally for 3 years and work there. And I'm signed with an agency. This is how it works. So I got there, and you have to prove yourself, because you get there and you realize real quick, I'm one of the 1,000 people that want this. I mean, that's even taking it lightly, but there's a lot of dancers there from all over the world, from all over the US, that move specifically to LA.
Absolutely.
For that dream. And LA is a commercial city, meaning art meets commerce, right? It's the best of the best in different, to be honest, it's people that can make a lot of money doing what they do, and they're good at it. So that's where a lot of competition. I get there and auditions. That's the role of the agency. The agency is like, okay, welcome to LA. What are your goals? I said, I want to be on the biggest, same thing I wrote down. I want to be on the biggest tours with the biggest artist. Okay, cool. We're going to send you to these auditions. When there's an audition for these big world tours, these music videos, these movies, we'll send them. And then you have to prove yourself, right?
Yeah.
So in the first few months, you don't see it now, but I cut my hair, but I had this big fro, I guess, but I have curly hair. So when people saw me once, the second time you saw me, you usually remembered me because of my hair. So that really worked well for me. So in a short amount of time, I got to know some people quickly in the industry, because I was in every class and I was hungry. I was 21. I was like, I'm here, kid in the candy store. I was like, F Netherlands. That's then. We're going to talk about this in a sec. But I was like, I'm done with that small country. I am now here to take over the world. And
it's good. That's
that energy.
That's the age.
And I think you need it.
Yeah.
Every class, I was in the front. I was there to show myself. And that's what really works there, right? In this country, in the Netherlands, They have this saying, doe maar normaal, dan doe je al gek genoeg.
Yeah.
Right? Act normal, that's already crazy enough.
Yeah.
But there, that doesn't work. There, you have to have this
stand out.
confidence. Yes, you have to be like, I'm a star, look at me. Yeah, in a way. Some people don't know how to switch that off. I think I'm pretty good at it. But in an audition, you have to turn that on in order to stand out. So I had that energy around me, and I got to know people. And then I did auditions, and I killed it, and then I got cut. I'm like, wait, this guy next to me messed up. I did it, but I get cut. Why is he staying? But then I learned, okay, it's not just about how good you are. It's also about politics. Who do you know? Who knows you? So now I got to know into the game of, that's how the world works, to be honest. It's not just about your skills. It's also about the relationships. So I was like, okay. So, learning as I was going. And then my first artist I booked was Shakira.
Damn.
Beautiful Shakira. And I was like, wow. And that was maybe after 5 months of being there. It was a music video. Maybe you know the song. It goes, Samina, mina, okay, this time for Africa.
Of course.
That one. I think it was the World Cup song.
Of course. So you're on that clip.
I'm in it. And I had a
cool.
small, and this is crazy. You know how I got this? This is actually crazy. They didn't need a dancer. They needed something else. They needed a capoeira guy. Capoeira, the Brazilian.
Yeah.
And I had the curls. I guess I had the look of, I could look Brazilian.
You could.
So what I did was I went to the store, got myself one of those white capoeira pants, went to the audition, and I do breakdance, so capoeira.
Fake it to be a
breakdance has influence from capoeira.
Yeah.
Capoeira is older than breakdance, but so I knew how to fake it. They say fake it until you make it. I'm like, let's do it. And I got booked as a capoeira guy in the music video.
Nice. I'm gonna check it after the
podcast.
Yeah.
So
I have to check it.
Eventually, I don't think they used because it was a lot of people. Eventually, and maybe we can pull this up. But I was one of the guys, and they copied a group of us into a big crowd, massive crowd, because it was a World Cup song. So you see in one shot specifically, you see me like 5-6 times from the front to the back. You see my afro there. Yeah, we're gonna pull it up. But that was my.
Man, can you pull it up into the edit, Joao? Can you do it?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe awesome. Even if it's a still, and I can send it to you guys.
That'll be awesome. Please,
so yeah,
Joao, please.
That was my first time. She walked in, Shakira, beautiful, tiny, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like growing up, I saw this woman on my TV screen.
How does that feel?
That it's almost indescribable. Now, social media, people see celebrities all the time, and maybe it's less of a big shock. Then you could only see them on the TV, in the music video. There's no, So it was just a.
Were you starstruck?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Also because of her beauty, she's gorgeous, but also the deeper feeling of the manifestation that we talked about earlier, the realization of, man, I believed that I was going to get to this point. And it's just a music video, but to me it meant so much. I was like, I dreamed of this. I envisioned this. I didn't know how to, and now I'm standing here. It was a crazy feeling. It's hard to describe in words.
Did you need to ground yourself? Was it like, because I can imagine that some. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Were you humble enough?
I would say yes, but that's because of my mom. If I didn't have my mom, her ethics, the way she stands in life, easily, and a lot of dancers have this, they get a big head a little bit. You're with superstars, you get a confidence around you. But my mom, early on when I started dance and I was feeling myself a little bit, got a little popular with the ladies, and my mom was saying like, hey, remember, you only have to break your ankle and you're done. So she was really good at grounding me. And, she's a woman of faith. So she was very good at saying, hey, you have to be thankful. You have to be thankful for the opportunity that's coming. I know you're working hard for it, but be thankful because there's other people that don't sometimes get opportunities. So luckily, before I even got to LA, she instilled this thankfulness that I should have in life.
The gratitude, yeah.
Gratitude, man. So I was literally like a smiling kid, just happy to be there. Not like, oh, look at me. I was like, man, this is crazy. So I was thankful, humble, I would say, and excited to share the news, man. All my friends and family back home, I'm like, yo, everybody was happy for me. and did this little, it was, probably one day on set with her and doing that shoot. And, back to auditioning. You go back to every time. And then there's a whole crazy story, but I'm going to go through it quickly. But I booked.
You don't have to go through it quickly.
Well, okay, let's talk about this. Because we talked about relationships. And as I'm maturing, I'm now 37, I'm understanding more and more what it is really about, right? It is about the relationships of people that you build in life.
Absolutely.
That's all these things we're trying to achieve. What does it mean if you're not with the people that love you and that you love around you?
What does it mean if you're in a toxic environment?
Exactly.
Is it worth it?
No.
If you're in a toxic environment and you have the success that you envisioned, but you're surrounded by predators, by people that are not actually rooting for your success, they're rooting for your downfall. You understand that you are surrounded by people that will take your spot like this without any care.
No,
is it worth
yeah,
it?
to me, no. I mean, maybe if I was younger, I would have a different answer. Now that I've lived my life, I would say it's not, because I've been in situations where the environment had been a little toxic, and you literally get to enjoy it less, because you're like, okay, yes, I'm here, but what am I? So what does it mean if you're not happy? And that's that, this inner peace and all that. But obviously, when you're young, you don't get it yet, maybe. But now I've matured a little bit. I would say absolutely it wouldn't be worth it. I think it's about the people that you have around you, right? So back to the relationship part, I had a family friend that lived in LA. Shout out to Conchita. Her name is Conchita. She's Surinamese, but has been living Suriname. She's been living in LA for a long time. For a long time, had her own success. Lives in Beverly Hills. Okay, so she's a nice. Very, very successful woman, almost like an auntie to me. She kind of knew my mom. And
in which business was she successful?
She was in a lot of different businesses, but entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Her husband at that time, I think her partner at the time, they have a kid together, was also a big entrepreneur, I think, in Europe. So obviously came from money, came from success. But I was there mostly because she was a family friend. So I came, she'd been in LA for a long time. And I told her at some point, hey, I got this call for this audition for this artist that you might know. Her name is Rihanna. And she says, oh. And at this point, I've been to her house a couple of times. She cooked food and chilled with her, and her daughter must have been 3 years old. She's like, oh, actually, I know the assistant choreographer of Rihanna because, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, we did this thing and we always kept in touch. I will put in a good word for you. I said, oh, yeah, great. And I go to this audition. It's a private call, meaning if you have an audition for a superstar like this, if it's open, there's like 500-600 guys or dancers. This one was 100, which is not a lot, right? But the problem they were looking only for one. So you have 1% chance. Everybody has 1% chance to book it. So I go there and I'm nervous. And Rihanna, sometimes the artist is there. Rihanna wasn't there. It was her team, the choreographer, and who else? The assistant choreographer. So
the nose Conchita.
He was like, oh yeah, you are Gianinni. Oh yeah, Conchita told me about you. Okay. I said, oh, nice to meet you. Now the audition starts. So yes, he even heard about me, but let's go back to the preparation. Now I got to prove myself. This is an audition. If I'm not good enough, I'm going to fall off. So 100 guys start, man. We go to 80. They cut 20 people. We go to 60. We go to 40. We go to 20. And this is now, after a couple of hours, right? You're sweating, you're dancing, they're recording it, they having the headshots, they're looking at who they can cut. They say the numbers. Boom. The room is getting more empty. Brutal. Oof. Take your shirts off. The guys have that too. They look the bodies. So it's a whole thing. At this point, I've been a few months in LA. I've done Shakira already. So I know how it works. I'm a little more like, okay, let's do this. And I get to the last 10. And I'm like, oh my God, so close. I now have 10% now chance to book this. And they cut some more. And I'm getting to stay. And I'm now with the last 3. It's me and 2 other guys. Me and 2 other guys to go on tour with Rihanna.
Someone gets a gun out, shoots.
I mean, yes, yeah. You almost like, I should break his ankle. I should smack him, and I say,
putting the glasses.
You like, you got. What can I do? Yeah, exactly. And the reason why they only needed one guy is because they already had their team, and I think one dropped out, and they were going to go to Australia. So they needed one guy. So now, this is like after 6 hours of auditioning. Everybody meaning us three. Like, yes, we're tired. Mentally, we're exhausted. Because every round, you don't want to get cut, so you need to perform at the highest level. And we get to this point after 6 hours, and the assistant choreographer or the choreographer pulls out the camera. And they say, listen, you three, we're going to do one more time. You each going to go twice with each other, right? We're going to record it. We're going to send it to Rihanna. She's going to decide. What that means, in very simple terms, is that it doesn't matter what you did those 6 hours before. It doesn't matter how good you were. This moment counts. So that was a crazy moment of pressure, just to kind of put you in the room, how that feels. So everybody's, you won, but your body's exhausted too. People are cramping up. People are like, you're blanking. It's just fatigue.
Of course, man.
But I'm like, listen, that conversation with myself was like, listen. And I had to kind of, everybody has their own routine, what they do. I had to tell myself, you were born for this. You prepared yourself for this. You traveled all the way. You left your family and friends behind to be here in this moment. Like, I had to really say, you got this. Let's be honest, I killed it. I can honestly say I killed it, right? One of the guys next to me that I danced with, he messed up. And in my head, I'm like, yes. It can happen to the best, but I'm like, yes, because I didn't mess up. I'm like, yes, because if Rihanna gonna watch this, she sees he's messing up, and she sees I'm dancing it. So, man, we do it, shaking hands. We're like, congratulating each other, like, may the best win. And now the waiting game starts. And that was the longest week. Because now what happens is, okay, we're gonna send a tape. Rihanna's gonna look at it, and they're gonna decide. You're going to hear from us. So that whole week, every little buzz on my phone was like, oh no, And then the call came. I remember it was evening, must have been 9 p.m. or something. It was dark outside. I was at the gym. This is maybe like 5-6 days later. I'm a little, my guard is a little more down because I was going crazy. I was like, I got to let this go, right? I got to, because I was I'm in the gym. I have my headphones on. I'm working on my sets. Phone goes. I'm not even now thinking. Phone goes. I pick up. I said, hello. I see a number that I don't know. I said, hello. And I hear the voice of the assistant choreographer. And, I'm alone at the gym. People around me. I stop. He says, hey, so I got some good news. And he says, congratulations. You booked it. Damn. In the gym, I go on my knees and I'm like, yes, yeah. And people are looking at me like, this guy, what is this? I was like, and I'm just walking around like this in the gym, like, yo. And he says, yeah, so rehearsal starts, next week, but I get the details. And I call my mom right away, And that was probably after because the Shakira thing was special because it was the first. Yeah. But this was crazy because I had to fight for my place here, 100 guys. But we go back to the relationship part. I had to be ready, but also I probably booked it because she put in a good word for me. And this is how the game works. Whether you love it or hate it, you cannot change the game. And this doesn't only work in dance. It's in business. It's in everything. Your relationships are everything. And if that moment didn't happen where she kind of said, hey, my nephew, she kind of called me nephew, he's going to be there. He's great. Just, Yeah. And then I had to prove myself, which I did, I guess. And then they felt like, let's give the job to him. It could have gone to the other guys as well, right? All the 100 guys, to be honest. Everybody in the room is professional. Everybody can do the job. Yeah. So now it becomes a look thing, the vibe, the energy that they feel with you. So I got the gig, man. I got the gig, and I remember the week after, I got the phone call, be there. I get to the room. I meet the team, right? The other dancers are already there. And I remember Rihanna walking in, man. That was crazy. Because now we were there before she was there. We were there, and then she came in, and I had to just remind myself, you're a professional. You know what I mean? You know, don't stare. You know, don't be. You know, in a way you get starstruck, but I have to be like just. It's kind of weird because you have to act like it's normal. But she was already at the height. It was after Rude Boy and those songs. She was already a superstar, and I just have to pretend a normal guy, which I still am, but a normal guy from Rotterdam, started in my small room, is now standing here. Man. And you know, I have to just act like it's normal. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So, and we got to work. We got to work. We had a couple of weeks to prepare. Got to meet her, you know, work with her. And then we went, and it was great because, and I got to tell you this little quick story about this whole Rihanna experience. It so happened to be that that time with her birthday was in that time frame. So, and also the NBA All-Stars game and the VMA Awards or AMA Awards, American Music Awards. All those things happened in the time frame that we were rehearsing for her tour. So what normally happens then, oh, we got to perform there as well. We bring you guys, which was great because I technically only booked the tour. But now
so you're like stacking up gigs. Like.
I'm back. I'm now performing at the NBA All-Stars game. I think it was with Drake. I think Drake was, and I think Kanye she had there. And then I was also performing at the AMA Awards. Wow. So this now a whole new world goes on. I mean, all the celebrities are there.
Doesn't it humanize everything, actually?
Well, what humanize?
Like humanize all these superstars.
Now I'm going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
So what happened was her birthday was at a time. So we're going to go to Australia. I think a week before that, somewhere it was her birthday, and she was going to celebrate her birthday. And we got the email like, "Hey, you guys are invited. There's 6 dancers. There's 4 guys, 2 girls. I'm one of the 4 guys." She's like, the team is like, "You guys are invited. She would love to have you." And we get an email of where to meet in LA. And the email said, once you get there, you get more instructions. So it was really weird because, and I didn't understand why, and until I got to the place. It was super secretive. You're going to get the details. You're going to have a meeting spot. There you're going to get another details to go to that meeting spot. You're going to get picked up.
Then give you a brick of coke. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. I was like, what is this underground? But the reason why we get to this mansion in Hollywood somewhere for her birthday, I get there. If I tell you who was there, and I had to just act like this is normal, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, Mary J. Blige. I mean, I'm missing a few actors. This is like her birthday. She had waiters, food everywhere. I mean, think about the movie scene where there's like the rich and famous, and there's this pool, and there's people walking around with trays and champagne. That whole movie, that whole fantasy, I was standing there like, yo, this is crazy.
And this is a gig, and then afterwards you can just hang?
No, there was no gig. This is just her birthday party. This is just a different
So
day.
you're just hanging?
We're just hanging.
Oh my God.
We're just hanging, not dancing. We're just there as invites to her birthday party. And all these celebrities are there. There are no phones. Not that somebody would like, but nobody was taking pictures. And that was very painful because I wanted to so bad.
Course.
But you have to act like, oh, this is Jay-Z in front of me and Beyonce. Hey, well. But that was just crazy. So that moment was another moment. I had to pinch myself and be like, the vision, I'm 22 now, still within the 5-year window. I was like, man, I'm here. And to go back to your question, yes, it humanizes everything because they're humans too. Like you see them chilling.
Yeah,
yes, it's rich, but it's like they're chilling with each other, having conversations, laughing. And what it did for me going on tour with her, I think it was right after the whole thing with Chris Brown and her. So she also was dealing with some life stuff of her own.
Yeah.
So I could understand like, okay, these are people too going through issues, and the only difference is they're in the public eye, but they have maybe more money than me, but they're also human. So yeah, that was crazy. And then from there, I went on tour. That was a whole, did the gigs, and then pretty much, because of me, I think being on tour with Rihanna or something, doing the AMA Awards, at that same time, there was a big audition for Cirque du Soleil. And this is MJ, Michael Jackson. Just, every dancer wants to. He passed away, right? But MJ always had a dream. He loved Cirque du Soleil, right? MJ was they say he was like a little kid, and he just loved, he had Neverland and roller coasters, and Cirque du Soleil is a magical show. And he was like, man, I would love to do something with Michael, me, and Cirque together. So apparently they were in talks and it never happened. He passed away. So now the estate of Michael Jackson, the mother, brothers, everybody involved were like, let's actually make this happen. So Cirque du Soleil as an entity and MJ as an entity did this big tour. And they said, we're going to do this big world tour, North America, Europe, Asia, for 3 years. A Cirque du Soleil show on Michael Jackson music, embodying what he stands for. Man, if I tell you that every dancer was at that audition, and I missed it. And I wasn't the only dancer that missed it, because the American Music Awards rehearsals were during the time that audition was. And I was already, I'm booked. I'm with Rihanna. I'm not going to say, Rihanna, I can't make it to them. No. So there were more dancers, because the AMA, those awards have multiple artists performing, and every artist usually have dancers. So all these working dancers couldn't make it to this Cirque du Soleil audition. So Cirque du Soleil caught wind. They're like, okay, that's too bad. We have a whole group of dancers that are professionals that can make it. We're going to hold a second private edition, which was good for me because less people. So boom, I do the Rihanna thing. I do this Cirque du Soleil audition. I think I heard the numbers. I think there was like over 1,000 people auditioning, and they only were going to pick like 14 or 12 or something like this. Yes.
That is literally a fraction of a percent.
Yes. Yeah. And I booked it.
You booked it?
I booked Cirque du Soleil. So I booked it. So I did Rihanna. Somewhere in between, I did Cirque du Soleil. I think before I went on tour with Rihanna, I think I already knew I was going to do Cirque du Soleil, and this is going to be a 3-year world tour. And if I tell you the best way as a commercial dancer like that in that world to make money, the top way is either being in a movie, obviously, and having speaking roles. That could be one. Another thing is being on a world tour, because you have a weekly pay that is the highest, mostly than any other gig you will do, and it's going to be a long-term gig.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 1 or 2 shows. It's going to usually be 6 months, 8 months, a year. Here I'm 3 years with Cirque du Soleil. So
it's like it's a yearly retainer. Actually.
Well, yeah. You get weekly pay. So you do, you negotiate your contract, and then you do multiple shows a week, and then every week you get the money, and that's for however long the tour. So with Rihanna, we got that, and every artist it works like this. So here I am now, fresh off Rihanna, going pretty much straight into Cirque du Soleil. Had to move to Montreal, Canada, because that's where the headquarters is of Cirque du Soleil. They have their own training facility, their own medical team, physios. And Cirque du Soleil is, high-level acrobatics, and they have dances in the show. So I'm one of the dancers, and there's the show, man, is huge. I think that year we were, I think, doing more numbers than Beyonce. It was everywhere. We went to places like Madison Square Garden, O2 Arena, Ziggo here in it was arena. It was an arena show, right? Because you have the tent shows. I don't know if you've ever seen the Cirque du Soleil tent
I haven't
pop-ups.
seen it, no.
But yeah, this was an arena show. It was huge, man. So I forgot the budget, but was
the draw also is insane.
Yes,
right? We're
crazy.
We're talking at least 5,000 to 6,000 people coming to see that. Right?
No.
Arena, like
every show on average was 20K people, 20,000 people.
Wow.
In a big arena like this, yes. Sometimes 18, 16, depending on the venue.
Wow.
I think in Mexico or something, we performed for 40, 50,000. Yeah, it was crazy. So,
what an adrenaline shot.
Adrenaline, yeah, every time. It becomes a drug too, to be honest. That sound of 20K people, and so you got to, Shakira, Rihanna, now Cirque du Soleil. I got to meet Michael's mom, his brothers. Of course, a lot of celebrities over those 3 years came to see the show. They were VIP guests. For the show, I had to do a lot of media interviews, a lot of local TV shows within the US. I met so many celebrities and artists and stuff like this because of the work that I do. And I can go through it, but then I did a year world tour with Lady Gaga. I have a whole list, man. I have a whole list of artists. Paula Abdul, which is an quote unquote old school artist. Paula Abdul, Kanye West.
She got back to the mainstream through American Idol.
Yes, exactly. She became an American Idol judge. But yeah, some people don't know this, but she used to be Janet Jackson's choreographer. That's all the big hits that Janet did. Most of the big hits Paula did, and then she became an artist herself. And in the dance industry, she's a legend because she's a high-level dancer that became an artist. So, yeah, I did many artists and tours after that, gigs in LA as well. So yeah, man, that's pretty much my dance career.
That's a dance career. Then when does it? What?
So yeah,
does a point come and you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm 37.
I mean that.
Yeah.
What I know, it's like, hey, the body has
its limits. Yes, I'm 37 now, and technically, I could still perform a high level. I think some of the gigs I did, I had people that were late 30s on some of those tours. So the beautiful thing about, I guess, LA, and it could also, it's a blessing and a curse. It's about your looks. So that could be, that could be shallow.
Yeah.
But also, if you have a good look, it could work for you. And in my case, if I don't look old, in very simple terms, I could keep doing this. The moment you start to look older, then maybe, because there's a new generation. But also,
is that why there is such a surge of plastic surgery there constantly? Like
I think, yeah. Unfortunately, it's people have this idea. To me, let me be very crystal clear. I don't like it when I see people that have their faces all done because. But
you can also see it. That's the
you can see it.
Part of it.
Some people might do it that you can see.
I mean, Kim Kardashian is like, it's done very well in that sense.
Yes.
But there was always this joke, that like the surgeon that is never proud of their job is the surgeon of Michael Jackson in that sense.
Okay, I've not heard that one, but that was good.
No, but I mean, if you think about it,
yes,
it's not to diminish all the life work that he did and everything, but it's like.
It's a look thing, yes, and it comes from a different place, of course, and I get that, whether it's him or other people. But yeah, to me, I never liked it. I want to just, grow old gracefully and naturally. But, I also try to give grace to people that maybe are dealing with their own stuff, right? I can't judge that.
It's body dysmorphia. So
stuff like this, right? There's a deeper conversation there. So, but just to me, when I see people that have done the lips and all the crazy stuff just in order to stay and look young, I'm like, it actually works against you.
Yeah.
Because I can see you're not that young probably.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, so it's really that's the bad, the darker side of Hollywood is people try to please versus accept, I guess. But yeah, I think in my case, as long as I look healthy and fresh, I could keep doing it.
Yeah.
Even when I'm 40, 41. The question is, do I want that?
That high octane constantly.
Yeah, but also, do you want to be between the 20-year-olds, right? I'm in a different stage in my life now.
Absolutely.
So it becomes also those things, right? But yeah, if I wanted to, I could. But also in that whole process of dancing, I then found a new passion, which is filmmaking.
Exactly. That's what how did this...
Yeah.
How did this come about? What was the path towards it? Because you're doing all these like crazy tours, you're touring the world, you're in the highest level of let's say pop dancing, you can say.
Yeah, you call it commercial dance or
commercial dance.
Yeah, it's dance, but it's at that level of the entertainment industry at the highest level, right?
And did you deal also with a lot of loneliness in that time?
Here and there, yes. I mean, family and friends are here, right? The way the people I grew up with. So, but sometimes it's a lonely life because you live in hotels, right? The Marriotts, Sheratons, Hiltons, like all these 5-star hotels that they provide, that they pay for. I mean, so you live that lifestyle, which is very, really nice. At the same time, some days are lonely. Like you, of course, with your crew, with the people that you perform with, everybody has their own hotel rooms. But some days, you miss the people that you want to see. But this is work, right? And some people work at an office job and they go home to their family. But when you're on the road, you can't go home to your family. That's literally your job you sign up for. So some days, especially when you feel more tired, you feel not as, you have those, absolutely. So, but I obviously knew I chose this, right? I can't complain. This is what I wanted.
Exactly.
It's what I wanted.
That's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off, exactly. Yeah. So it was never like, I pity myself because, no, but in reality, yes, you have those days, but then I had to kind of like, hey, this is what you worked hard for. There's 1,000 people in line waiting to get your spot. Just be grateful for this.
Right.
But yeah, I would lie if I say, no, every day was perfect and it's not lonely. That's, I think, the trade-off of reaching that level.
That's the price to pay.
The price to pay. But yeah, in that tour, remember what I said earlier, when I did the little step-up competition thing, I had my little camera. that became a link to what's happening later.
That's the seed that grew
the
slowly.
seed, which I didn't even know. Because when I booked the 3-year world tour, and even Rihanna, actually, even when I went to LA for the first time, I was that guy, before everybody was doing it, vlogging. This was not, nobody really did it. I had this little camera recorder.
Were you doing it on YouTube?
Yes, and I was uploading. Okay. There's still some old videos there. I was uploading on YouTube. Hey guys, I'm here. And I was filming my little experience on the Rihanna tour. Uploading it as what I could film at least. You know, I was not allowed to film everything. So I was already doing that and editing these little videos, sharing it. I was mainly doing it because I have my friends and family back home. I grew a fan base because of the program. I was like, I should do something to keep them posted. Oh, I'm going to do these little videos. But it was just a seed planted, which I didn't know for later. So now, you know, I know how to edit a little bit, I know how to shoot. And now I booked this 3-year world tour with Cirque du Soleil. So I'm like, yo, I'm going on tour for 3 years. What I need to do now is I need to document this. I need to buy a better camera. So I just came fresh off Rihanna, had a little money in my pocket. It's like, let me get this better camera. So I started Cirque du Soleil, and I was literally that guy. I had now a better semi-documentary camera. Every little party, every get-together, who had the camera in his hand? Gianinni. I was that guy. So I still have footage that probably a lot of the cast from that time, it would be gold to them because nobody was filming. I was the only one filming. But that was so important because now, a year into the tour, a random night, we're in the middle of, I think we're somewhere in Europe. It was maybe Finland or something. It's cold. We can't go outside. And you remember, the cast that was in, the acrobats, the live band, MJ's original musicians traveling with us, and the dancers, we were with 60 people. Big. This was a big show. I'm talking 40 trucks of 40 big trucks of traveling the show of all the pieces. It was crazy. If we came in, oh yeah. So when we went into a hotel, we kind of took over.
Yeah,
I think 60 people. So every floor, we had a whole room list, and everybody had their own room. So every room was like people of us. So at some point, the tour management was cool. You start to have these little cliques. Everybody knows each other, but you have your little group of 5, 6 friends here and everybody. So I had my friends and the tour manager. We requested, can you put us in every city, in every country, put us together? So the rooms next to each other, you know. So I knock on some doors. I said, Mike, Lico, some of my boys. I said, Lico, come out. I want to film something. They're like, okay. So they were cool to play. There's the middle of nowhere. I think we had the next day off. It's like 10 p.m. at night in this quiet hotel. I said, let's do something. And I told him, you lay on the floor. Just pretend you're passed out, okay? I said, you just grab his ankle, just drag him like you're...
So you were like intuitively directing.
I had no idea what I was doing. I had no script. And they were just, my friends were not actors. They were just dancers, down to play. So I shoot something. Then I was like, okay, let's go now to the hotel room. And you just pretend like you're waking up. Your hands are tied and you have a package that he has a package that you need. Go. And they were just improvising, no script. And so I film everything. I go back to my hotel room. I put the footage in. I'm like, okay, I need some scary music. I'm like, okay. So I grab a track from like a horror movie. I put it under it. The moment I press play and I watch it, the same feeling I had when I started dancing. And I recognize the feeling now. And just, if something happened there, time stood still, right? And then, right then and there, I knew I want to do this. I want to make movies. And then the next few months, man, I put it online. And I got a lot of views because I had 2 dancers on my tour. They're called Le Twins. Very famous dance from France. They're like these black twins with like afros. Le Twins. Yeah. They were also Beyonce dancers. So they were very popular.
Oh, they're actually, I saw some stuff like in the algorithm. I saw they're very like the whole hip hop.
Yeah, the fashion. Yes.
Yeah.
So they were on tour with me. So they already had a big
Black guys, right?
Black guys. Yes, black guys from France.
Yeah.
So they had a big fan base. So I had them in my little short films. So all their friends were like, yo, this is crazy. So the views started coming in. I was like, wait. And then somebody sent me a message. She's now a good friend. Shout out to Charvon. She's from Philadelphia. Person that I don't know. She's been following us doing Cirque du Soleil, right? We had these little videos that I was uploading. she's like, hey, I'm a filmmaker. I saw you uploaded this short film. I think you should maybe try to see if you can do film school because you have an eye. And I know you're on tour, so maybe that's not possible. Check out this website. So she sent me like an online film school website. And I was looking into actual film school because I know LA, that's where it happens. There's like USC, there's AFI. But then I saw the tuition fee. My guy, if I tell you
a kidney and a leg,
pretty much 40,000 a year per semester.
Fuck you.
I was like, yo,
it's absurd, man.
You could maybe apply for a scholarship, maybe and I was like, no, I can't do this. Still, and also the second thing is,
then if you get student loans, the interest is insane.
Yes.
And you're caught up in this like
in this
vicious
machine
circle of paying until you're fucking 60.
Yes. So and I was dancing at that level. So I was like, that means I would have to stop. Doesn't make sense. I'm 23 now, 24. I was like, man, dancing is like like any top
Until
sport.
which age were you dancing on that level?
Yeah, like I was 21. With Rihanna, I was probably 22, 23.
No, until which age?
Pretty much still, but
still okay.
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
You're still doing gigs.
We'll get there. But
okay.
yes, still at that level. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But I pretty much. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
You were talking about the fact that you were checking schools. You saw the tuition fee.
Yes,
you were
exactly.
dancing in that level.
It's like I can't stop now, right? My point was you can maybe have 20 until 40. To squeeze that. I was like, I need to do it right now.
Yeah.
So instead, what I did was the online film school. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep touring, keep dancing, and I'm going to have to learn in between. In between my shows, in between production, in between tours. That's exactly what I did. So I started doing more short films with the dancers. That was fun, but they were not actors. So when I got back to LA on breaks, I held my first audition for actual actors. And then my work got a little better. I started to learn people in LA that were in that industry and community because dancing is, of course, a separate world, but film also. And I'm still on a journey because that's a long journey to get to know the right people.
Right.
But a lot of stuff has happened since then. I won some awards. I've done some short films. I'm getting ready to now direct my first feature film. But essentially that kind of happened. While I was dancing, I was developing my filmmaking career because I knew after my dancing, when it's really done, I want to do this full time. I want to make movies. And the reason why, maybe that's good to mention as well, is as beautiful as dancing is, somebody literally tells you what to do and where to stand. And that's okay when you're 21, but I started to get this feeling of I also want to have a voice.
Yeah.
And as a dancer, that's not what you're getting paid for. You're literally getting paid to execute the vision, and you get paid good money to execute it. And that's what I signed up for. But I had this other feeling of like, I want to be able to create as well. I want to be able to say something. Now, a natural progression is dancer to choreographer. Right? Which I started doing that as well. But I was like, man, in film, I can tell stories in a different way. Actually, I can even put dance in film if I want to. But it's all these other art forms that come together, and I can let the audience feel something. And I always loved movies, so it just made sense for me to like I want to be able to be a writer director and do that. So that's pretty much my journey. And to kind of go back to your question about if I still dance at that level, yes and no, because I recently decided I wanted to be able to travel more back home to the Netherlands because I have a daughter.
You have a daughter?
Yes,
okay, I
became a father, right? She's now 2.5 years old.
That changes the whole game, huh?
It changed the whole game. And in all those years, I told myself, I'm not going to start a relationship with somebody from the Netherlands. I'm not going to do it. And guess what happened?
You got
Guess what happened? Yes.
God was like,
no, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So she lives here, my partner, Lizzie, and my daughter, Nalaya. And the plan first was we're going to live in the States. But remember, all those years I was there, I never had children. So I didn't have to think about education there and healthcare for. So then when my
and then you understand that
my lady got pregnant, yes, I got looking into it. I was like, wait a second. The Netherlands offers so much for almost nothing compared to the US. So then it made more sense to be based here for my
For your daughter.
For my daughter, as far as in them based here. I'm 50-50. I'm going back and forth. I'm back and forth. They come sometimes back and forth. But first the plan was, we're going to live there. And then I was like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. When you, I mean, I can go really deep into when you talk about education, healthcare, only those two already, it made more sense.
You need so much money also, right?
Yes, you can have a good life in LA if you have a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
So we're like, nah, it's a smaller, safer, more comfortable, I think, to raise a child here. So we decided let's just be based here, unless we would have to move because of a big opportunity. But if not, let's try to do this as much as we can. So, at this point I have a green card, so I can go in and out.
Yeah.
But that changed everything. And last year, I was in a show called Magic Mike Live. I don't know if you know the movie Magic Mike, but it's Channing Tatum that has these sexy for the ladies.
The Chippendales.
The Chippendales, yes. Yeah. But if you would tell that to the Magic Mike family or even Channing Tatum, he would slap you in your face. Only because Chippendales and Magic Mike is...
Two different things.
Yes, both shirts go off.
Right? Strippers,
yes.
Both.
But if you would see Magic Mike, man, the show, so you have the movies, but their live show is what I did. So Channing Tatum, after he did the movie, he then opened up a live show. He's like, there's a lot of demand. I mean, there's a big fans, mostly women, of course, watching this movie. I think we should make this turn into a Vegas live show because you have the Chippendales, which is kind of cheesy, right? It's old. I don't know when they opened, maybe the 80s. There's the Chippendales, there's Thunder from Down Under. There's these big guys that are not dancers, but they have big bodies and they just take off the shirts and the ladies are like, ew. But Channing was like, no, we can actually renew this and do this in an actual proper way. We have the movie. So what he did then, got the investors, got the money, and they opened Magic Mike Live in Vegas. This show, man, so I got to do the show for a year and a half, which is an amazing show. It's not what you think. Yes, shirts go off. But it's only professional dancers at the highest level. It's a comedy show. It's really a great show. And I did auditions twice for the show. Every guy in LA did that show. Did the audition for the show. First 2 times, I made it to the end. Didn't get the call back, right? Same thing with Rihanna. Like you have to wait on the phone call. Didn't get the call. And then all out of the blue, they needed a guy. And I got just a random phone call a year later.
A year later?
Yes,
wow.
Like, are you available? Yes, like, yeah.
See,
and I'm like,
preparation.
Yes.
You're still
exactly.
prepared, yeah.
And, I put myself out there. They knew me. They had me on file. And they were like, this guy is right for the job. So they're like, hey, there's a spot. So then I did a year and a half in Vegas. I did that show, which is crazy schedule. Vegas shows are crazy. A tour is nice because you do like 3 shows a week, maybe 4, because you travel, you need days off. If you do Vegas, it's 10 shows a week.
10 shows a week.
10 shows a week, man.
So it's like double in the weekend.
Yes, you do. Usually sometimes we had 1 day off, but usually you have a weekend off. And then you do 5 days, 2 days, 2 shows a day. And that's heavy on the body, man.
That's heavy, yeah.
Of course, they have physio. You can sign in for massage therapy and they take care of us because if we get injured, they have no show.
Yeah.
But that is the Vegas entertainment dancing schedule is crazy. Earlier, I got an offer. Actually, the first month that I moved to LA, back to when I was 20, 21, I auditioned for Cirque du Soleil in Vegas. My mom was with me, and they offered me a job for one of the shows, and I said no. And the reason why I said no, the only reason is I didn't feel right in my body. I just got to LA. I did it, and it was going to be a 1-year contract in Vegas.
When you say you didn't feel right in your body,
I was like, I don't think I need to do this. And it was the craziest thing. I told my mom, like, yo, I booked this. I made it to the end. They called me. It was the Beatles show, I think it was called Love in Vegas. And it was guaranteed money. This is the contract, 1 year. And I said to my mom, I don't think this is what I need to do. Mom was like, you got to follow your feeling. But it was crazy because I came to the States to dance, but that didn't feel right. A year later, the MJ Cirque du Soleil came back and I booked it. And that was a 3-year work tour. So sometimes it's also, I think just what I've learned is in the end of the day, following your gut feeling sometimes. Yeah. Right? Even if the money is right or everything feels good, if something doesn't feel right in your spirit, like sometimes you got to follow that.
Gut is such an important, for me, it's such a compass, A
compass, yes.
Such a compass of just, it could look like the great thing, but then the intention behind it is sinister sometimes, or the intention doesn't fall within your morality or your moral base, and you're gonna get a lesson. You're gonna pay a price.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because a lot of hubris is also
absolutely. Yeah, and sometimes it's even if nothing is sinister about it, even if it's just everything is nice, maybe it's not the right thing for you.
Yeah.
That moment.
Exactly.
That moment.
Exactly.
So I said no to Cirque du Soleil that time. A year later, I was on tour with them for a bigger show, way bigger.
Yeah.
That gave me a whole life experience. So pretty much that is, I would say, my whole, I don't know, we went through a long story of my beginning, but now you have a good idea of how I got there.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything,
and also the filmmaking and all that stuff. What would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years with the film?
Man, that's a good question, man.
I have two questions actually. The 5 years from now, but then I have another question.
Okay. 5 years from now,
because you're putting it out there right now.
Yes. I put 5 years from now. Let's see, I'm 41. I am at that point an established filmmaker, meaning I have a couple of films under my belt that the people loved.
Yeah.
Hopefully the critics loved as well.
Commercially successful.
Commercially successful. Yes. I want to be very specific. Commercially successful films, and hopefully the critics loved it as well. But I think.
Do you have a more or less like the genre that you would like, or the story that you would like to
Well, yeah, I have different stories, but I would say genre. I'm mostly into the sci-fi action thriller space. Of course, open to drama, but I think that's where I'm most comfortable and that excites me to make. You know, things like Inception. You know, I love a lot of the work from Christopher Nolan. Big spectacle stuff that the critics love, but also the masses love, right?
Yeah.
I love that. So I want to be able to create that. So yeah, in 5 years, hopefully I've done a couple of films already, at least 2, hopefully 3 maybe. And maybe a multi-picture deal. Yeah, maybe a multi-picture deal with a streamer or a studio.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Like, I want to create. Obviously, I want to get paid for it. I think that's one thing I've learned being an artist. Early on, I was like, I don't want to be a starving artist.
No, fuck that narrative, man.
You know what I mean? I want to be very clear here. Being a pure artist is amazing, just to create for the art of it. I think if nobody would pay me, I would have still danced because that's how I express myself.
Yeah.
If nobody would pay me, I've done a lot of work in film that nobody paid me for it. I felt the inclination to create. So that is the pure form of being an artist, is nobody has to put money down in order for you to say, I want to make this, I want to express myself
But you can also have a good life quality.
Yes. Yeah. And that is that I feel like some artists, not all, some artists might feel like, yeah, I don't want to do it for the money. I'm like, no. I believe if that's what you want to do, also you can make money by doing it. And early on as a dancer, I was like, no, I want to be able... I don't want to do a normal 9-to-5 job and then dance for the love of it. I want to be able to dance for it and make my money of it. Now, there's a trade-off. There is a trade-off. And every artist will understand this, is that when you introduce money and people, clients and people, now it becomes more work. It doesn't only become, oh, I'm an artist, I do this because I love it. Sometimes, even if you don't feel like it, we paid you to do this. You got to do it. And that's
You're of service. Yeah.
Of service. And that is the difference between a professional artist or I'm an artist at home doing my thing. And I wanted to be a professional, and that comes with certain, responsibilities. And I knew that. But same thing with film. I don't just want to be the filmmaker that just do it because I want to tell stories that are, received by the masses, hopefully, and hopefully can change people's lives, but also something that can support me and my family.
Yeah.
Right? And that would be the perfect marriage for me.
Yeah. That it's that thing. What you say, the perfect marriage of having an artistic vision, but then also making it sustainable.
Yes.
And not taking artistic concessions in order for you to be able to put food on the table.
Exactly.
That's like a very important thing. A lot of people sometimes they think, you need to have like an Oscar or a Grammy to feel accomplished. Mm-hmm. If you can, like you said, if you can marry these two things together, that's a big accomplishment.
Absolutely.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yes, for me, it's not, of course, the awards are nice. It's more of an acknowledgement of the work. But to me, it's if I can provide for my family with doing what I love, that right there is success.
Yeah.
If you would ask me what is success, that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Man, fantastic. And what would be the advice you would give yourself from 10 years ago? With all the knowledge and experience that you have right now.
10 years ago.
Gianinni, that is 26, 25.
Yeah. I would...
You're on tour with, the biggest artists in the world, commercial, like...
Yeah.
You have now, the experience that you have now, what would be the advice?
Yeah, I mean, I've been always very ambitious. So I think the number one advice would be like, hey, really be present in the moment, if that makes sense. Because that's the downside of being ambitious, that you're always in the future. What's my next step? But to be present, to really soak it in this moment. I think
relish in it.
Relish in it. I think I could have been slightly better at it, but I was young, of course. So you're like, a puppy running around. But I think that would be one advice, one day at a time. One day at a time, I think, but yeah, it's hard because that's kind of being part of being ambitious is that focus in the future.
Of course.
That's one. And I think another one would be like, hey, to even, I've done my best, of course, but to really understand like, hey, I know you're in the middle of all the action right now and the glitz and the glamour, but what it really is about is to have the people you love around you, or to look, or at least to have them around you as much as you can. You know what I mean? So but now that wisdom comes when you age a little bit, when you're older, right? But if I would have somebody in my shoes in the age of 25, 26, I would probably tell them these two things. Yeah.
The importance of loving relationships.
Yeah, loving relationship, and relish the moment, because it's going to go. It's going to go, right? I'm 37 now, and like I said, if I want to, I can still probably do it for a couple of years. But there's now, my whole story of me being 18, 19, 20, hungry. There's now a new generation of people that feel this way.
Yeah.
So things come and go.
What would be the advice you would give that generation?
Yeah, I would say, number one, it starts to figure out what you want. I think that's number one for me. And that is for a lot of people difficult, I understand. But sometimes that's your journey of trying different things and failing and see where you would land. But figure out what you want, because if you figure that out, you can focus and aim, right? You can hit the target. If you don't know where you're aiming, the chance of you hitting your target is low. So what is your target? That's number one. And then number two, from there, it sounds cliche, but believing it's possible. I truly believed, and I didn't know, remember we said, I didn't know how, but I believed this is possible for me. So something that felt so far away, but I felt it's possible. And then the last thing, it starts and ends with you regarding the hard work. So yes, you can find connections and things it can get you, but to also be prepared, whatever it is that you do. Now I am a dancer, so it's a specific craft. There's no shortcuts there. People will see real quick in an audition if you're ready or not, if you've done the work or not. So, and that's for almost everything. Like, you got to be ready. You cannot make shortcuts when it comes to the work that you do. You need to do your studies, your blood, sweat, and tears for what you love doing. So that would be the 20-year-olds now. There's a lot of distractions that we had less then. Yeah, right now you have all the social media, all the podcasts right now watching, which is great, but also understanding you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. Yeah.
Nothing beats it. That's the thing. It's don't get. Well, we had because that's like the third podcast we're doing today, and a lot of it came up in the sense of this is the generation that realizes that you can also have success without the hard work, and that's a trap.
Yes,
that's a trap, because nothing. In my opinion, I'm a pianist. I'm a very, let's say, crafted composer. I write for orchestras, all that stuff. But it's like, you can't cut corners. It's hours and hours, thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours of doing that until it becomes a fact.
Absolutely.
After it becomes a fact, then there's the next thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is no. I mean, you can make a TikTok thing and become big and all that stuff, and it doesn't mean anything if the craft is not deeply, deeply studied. Yes. Yeah, and I think there's this book called Outliers from Malcolm Gladwell, one of my favorite books. It's not it's kind of like a book with case studies, right? Somebody recommended to me,
He's a scriptwriter, right?
Malcolm Gladwell, I think he writes books.
He's a writer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he writes scripts, but he has several books. But this one is called Outliers, which is great because he speaks about the 10,000 hour rule, what you speak about, and he pretty much makes the case in a book like, in order to be an expert at anything, you need to put in 10,000 hour rule.
Yep.
Like if you put in 10,000 hours in anything, you will reach a certain level.
Yep.
So that absolutely, right? Before I even got to maybe, let's say, the So You Think You Can Dance show, I already put in my 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
I was ready. Same thing with film. I put certain levels of hours in there, and probably you in the piano. I can only imagine how many hours. But what the book really does well is it speaks about talent. And you know this, because you play piano, so I know you know this. Yes, you can have, quote unquote, talent, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean much. And I'm going to tell you why. And the book does a really good job of how talent is overrated.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is that? What is talent?
Talent, yes.
What?
Right,
the affinity to that, the love, the interest, it means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
It means nothing, because if you don't stretch your body, and if you don't learn the steps, and if you don't have basics of specific things, of course, I don't know with dance, but like specific basics that require years of practice, your talent is worthless.
Yeah.
Worthless.
Absolutely. People might see you, you have some feeling for this. But if you're trying to get to your level, the talent will not get you there.
No.
So the book does a really good job at showcasing and highlighting in different case studies of how environment is crucial. Sometimes it can also be time. And we can talk about the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs of this world, that timing, the environment they were in was very crucial and important, right? I believe Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, I think we're in an environment where they have access to computers where they could do stuff, right? So the book does a really good job to explain that it's about environment, it's about the time you put in. That's of course important, which is probably the most important thing. Is the talent doesn't mean that's 10%. It's about you putting in the hours and hours and hours, sacrifices, and then it's right place, right time, and you know, the right people around you, and a lot of factors why. And the book pretty much studies the people at the top. Is there something common? And he looked at athletes. He looked at, I believe, people in a village that got old, like I think an Italian small village. Why, in this village, why did everybody go past this age, past 90 or 100? Community. It was about community. So in the book, he shows that the word talent, the age thing was a separate thing, but how that is overrated. And I felt, for the first time when I read the book, so I got it, because I always felt when people told me, "Oh, you're so talented," I felt like it's almost slap in the face. Like, what, talented?
You know how many
blood, sweat, and tears? Yeah. I actually believe you could do the same. The only difference is I did and you didn't.
Yeah.
Right? I truly believe that. I believe if I go now, there's maybe different levels you would reach, but I now, if I, for the next 20 years, will tell you, I'm going to learn how to play piano.
You can
in 20 years, I can probably come back and say, hey, I know how to compose now. I can work.
Because you did it in one thing already. So you understand the process. That's what people, lack of consistency is what kills success.
Yes.
It's not talent, not lack of talent, not of this. Because the 10,000 hours, what happens with 10,000 hours is the following. You are going to feel desperate at some point and discouraged to the bone. And you have to go through that hurdle. You have to, there's a spectrum, a very, very large spectrum that you're going to go through with that relationship of the craft. You need to be able to feel any type of emotion with that, meaning great success and great failure with it. Because if after the first audition that you didn't get a call back, you would quit and go back to the Netherlands, you would not get that audition with Shakira.
Right. True.
With Rihanna. Yeah. With this. If you would let that inner voice of you telling you you're not good enough, forget about it.
Forget about it, yes.
Forget about it. There will be voices telling you, You don't
Quit.
deserve it.
Stop.
Quit.
Yeah.
Stop. This. If you can go past these voices, they become less and less, and they just become like these small
whispers, maybe,
whispers,
and then
they just they disappear. You know,
absolutely.
Because that's I have this sentence that I was thinking about. I have two. Patience is the currency of the successful.
I love that. Patience is the currency of the successful. Wow.
Yeah, think about it.
Yes.
Patience. You're patient and you're consistent, and you pay with that currency. That's one. The second one that I'm thinking a lot about is talent can open some doors, but focus teaches you how to craft the key.
Wow. Ooh, I love that.
Think about
it. In order to open the door,
exactly.
You first need that key.
Exactly. Talent can open you some doors. You're just like, okay, you're open door. This like genetically, you have it.
Yeah.
You can do it. You have 2 legs, 2 arms.
Yeah, right.
But the focus and the work that you're doing, that crafted the key to open the auditions for the other things. You know, I can tell you, for instance, I'm almost 2 meters. Okay. I was offered opportunities to play basketball on a high level in Israel, but I didn't have any interest in it. So it kind of like put me in situations and this and that, which I wasn't interested in. That is a predisposed genetic thing that I got. Okay? If the fire, the same fire that I had towards the piano, I would play professionally. I didn't have it, so it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
It opened some doors, but I didn't have the focus to craft that key. With the piano, it was the other way around. I started pretty late, but I started when I was 16, and a lot of people were like, what, 16? You'll never make it. What do you mean? Man, it's too late. You have to start when you're 5 and this and blah, 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 blah. It didn't matter to me. I just put in the work constantly. I sacrificed so much. I used that focus.
Yep.
I used that focus to do that. And then when you get that gigs that you want, or when you finally are on the stage that you want, it's like that was all that sacrifice and time that I put. That was the key.
Absolutely. I love that, man.
You know?
I love that. You said focus is the craft.
No.
Sorry.
So
say it again, the last line.
So basically talent opens some doors.
Yes.
Focus teaches you to craft the key.
Teaches you to craft the key. I'm gonna steal that one, man. I'm gonna steal that one, man. I love that one. I love it. No, I think that, you know, and you know, we spoke about this, that voice, you know, I think they call it imposter syndrome, where you kind of hear this voice like, oh, who do you think you are? Can you do this? I feel like with every new thing you start, and you heard about this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect,
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Because when you start first, you feel like, oh, yeah. Let's say I would start play piano. Probably when I learn a song, I'm like, yo, and then you're gonna keep going, and then you hit this low point where you realize I have so much to learn, and then that voice is loud, like you should stop.
But it's because of the, it's an interesting thing that happens with your hormonal system at that moment, is that you get positive feedback. Because it's very quick. It's very shallow, so you get serotonin and dopamine flooding your system. So it gives you actually, it's an evolutionary thing. It's very important because it keeps on going.
Right.
Because of impressionism, like because we're so easily impressioned, like with basically telling us, oh, you're so good, oh, you're so this, it gives us more of that. However, when you get to that low point, you start releasing cortisol. When you start releasing cortisol, that's when you need to reshape what is happening.
Yes.
So from serotonin and dopamine, you go into cortisol.
Yeah.
And then the cortisol is like the toxicity of it, the stress, all that. And you need to transform it again.
Yes.
And that's the low point of the
That's the low point. Yeah, and that's when that voice is loud, right? Like, you should stop this. What are you doing? And like you said, if you can transform that, then there's rise. So I'm learning better, you know, how to be consistent, how to do that. And I think that what life is, man, that's about, in the end of the day, all these things that I'm doing, that I've been doing, it's really about finding your purpose in life, you know? Finding what do you believe your purpose is? How can you make the world a better place? How can you spread that love? And as a dancer, you know, touring with these different artists, being on stage, seeing that night when people come, what it means for them, being able to you know, provide that experience, you know, entertainment, if you think about it, right? It's I've got to know a lot of people along the way that had a normal job, and entertainment is very far away from them. They and that's the interesting thing. They interact with entertainment. They like music, they watch movies and series, but some people have never met somebody that works in that industry. So some people, unfortunately, think it's not a real job, right? Now it's changing.
Man, I've seen it.
Yes, now it's changing with the new generation, with all these content creators. But I think the last generation, they were like, well, okay, but doctor, lawyer, they didn't realize there's these other jobs. And I feel like, especially with COVID, people started to realize how, as humans, we need some form of release. When you spoke about the hormones, right? What it does for you. And every form of entertainment, some people love classical music, some people love hip hop. It doesn't matter, right? But as a human, we cannot just be robots and work, and we need a release. And
sorry that I cut you. I'm just, what comes up in my mind, it's like you're making films. What you're doing is you're curating emotions.
Yes.
You're taking things, you're taking, let's say, human interactions,
yes,
and you're curating them in a safe environment.
Yes.
It's very important for people. That's why art is existing, for us to be able to experience emotions in a safe way.
Yes.
Not just in a mundane constantly.
Right.
That's why people consume so much art. They look at your film, they see an interaction between two people, and they see a reflection of themselves. You are basically expressing something that is suppressed within them.
Yes, absolutely. I beautifully said.
Because you're expressing something that's suppressed within them, they have a deeper insight of themselves.
Yes.
They see that. That's why people flock to to Netflix, and they flock to Spotify, and they flock to all these platforms, and they consume it on such a large amount because it gives them a bridge into a deeper part of themselves.
Absolutely.
That's my belief.
No, I think you said it beautifully. I think that's how I also look at art. And I think this is for me also the reason why I do what I do is to be able to provide that for people in a way, and whether it's dance or film, it's all related, right? Music, what it does for people on a deeper level.
On the metaphorical level.
Metaphorical level, yes. And so I take, sometimes I tell myself, don't take it too seriously, and because I'm not doing heart surgery. On the other end, I do feel it's important, right?
Of course.
In a sense of like, in order to feel a full human, right?
Yeah.
Meaning we have the work side and paying the bills, and responsibilities. But there's another side as humans that is important to us, which is having fun, right? Which is the release, which is
transcendence.
Transcendence, man. Yes.
Transcendence. People need to transcend.
Exactly.
Because then it's just, you know what? If people won't transcend, let's say like this is my opinion.
Yeah.
The whole world right now, all these platforms burn down. There's no more art. There's no more culture. Okay,
right.
People are just busy working this. There will be some underground movement that will create arts and culture.
Man. That's crazy that you say that, because that sounds like a movie concept right there. But
dude,
yes,
hey,
I like it.
Dibs,
I'm
dibs
like, hey, I got it.
I'll write it.
But yes, please. No, but absolutely, I do believe that there will be a rebellion against that whole machine of and that's we haven't even spoken about the difference between the U.S. and the Netherlands. Both could be great places. Both have their issues as well. Ups and downs is everywhere. But when we talk about capitalism and the machine, what it provides is on the one end a positive economy, and there's winners, but there's also losers, right? And I think that is, and what I do is interesting, because right now there's this there's this personal path I'm on. Is like, I want to make a lot of money doing what I'm doing, but also the capitalization of things and the commercializing of things can also alter the other.
Yeah.
The art. So, and I'm in this interesting dance of like, how can you be successful in both? Because right now, let's be real, there's a lot of content creators making a lot of money, right? Doing what you're doing. But what would happen if Instagram and TikTok decide tomorrow we shut down? You know how many people would lose their livelihood, right? Which is interesting, because some of these people are not that talented.
No.
Then let me rephrase that. they have a talent or a skill set to reach people through a platform and entertain in that way. But that's something that's interesting. It's the world is changing, and I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man, but it's interesting to look at the younger generation to be like, okay, but what happens if you take away that phone?
Yeah.
Well, what is your real life skill that you put in the hours in? You know, and I'm not sure if that question is still relevant, to be honest, because the question is, do we even go back to that? Because the world is changing and evolving. You know.
I think
it's interesting, right?
It's very interesting because it's like, if that really happens, I mean, I can say just about myself, you know, I'm in that space for quite some time now, and I'm just using it as a tool, but I will continue enriching myself as a human, no matter what. And I also understand the fallacy of it. It's like, this is a tool, and if it falls apart,
I'll find another tool.
I'll find another tool, because
Yes.
I just want to reach people, and I want to meet people. I want to meet people. Like, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, like, to just be able to speak to you and to speak to more people.
Yeah.
I could do this, man, I'm not kidding. I can do 10 in a row.
Right.
I don't get tired at
Right,
all.
right,
at
right.
all. Because, and that's the positive feedback I'm talking about. Because talking to people, coming in contact with people, creating a relationship with someone, that will never change.
Absolutely.
AI will not take it.
Nope.
Digitalization will not take it. Even if these platforms are just a proxy of our need to connect.
I love it. Yeah, that's very well said. A proxy for need to connect. I think that, you know, and that was early on, you know, dancing. I was like, and that's a dangerous thing being an artist, is that sometimes I'm not sure if some artists maybe not be able to do this, but your identity is tied,
of course,
to what you do.
Of
almost.
course, but that comes later with the age. You understand that this is just something you do.
Exactly, because when I was younger, I was like, "This is me."
Yeah,
right?
I am.
And the dancer.
You know?
Yes, but
it's
now
like,
I start to understand. Yes, it's a part of me. That's definitely part of there, but it's also, it's very dangerous to put your identity in that, right? Because what happens now, what you see with you know when we speak about depression and things like this in the younger generation, social media has a lot to do with that. And that's because, you know, if there's not enough likes,
then you're worthless as a person.
Yes, there's not enough views.
Yeah.
How do you then feel about yourself?
Yeah.
And if that is like, you start to feel those emotions of like, oh, so that's interesting, because I had to kind of go through this transition of like, hey, you know, don't put your worth into that.
No.
As a human being, you are fully worth, even if you would have 0 likes and 0 followers, right? Let's say you're still a full human being. The person with 10,000 followers isn't per se better than you. And I think that is something also, probably I would have told now a younger person of like, hey, you know, it's a great tool. Don't get me wrong. Social media is a great tool, but don't put your identity and your happiness into that, because that's a very dangerous game to play, right?
And that's where, again, spiritual enrichment of yourself is so important to understand that there is a part in yourself that is eternal. It's not wishy-washy, all this, not at all. Not at all. There is in all of us a part in ourselves that is eternal. Not internal. It's internal, but it's also eternal.
Eternal, yes.
Eternal, meaning that there is a part that no one can touch.
Yes.
And you reach that only, let me rephrase it, when you were dancing for the first time, when you were making the film for the first time, you touched that part. When time stood still,
yes.
In yogic tradition, it's called samadhi.
Okay.
It's complete focus of all your senses.
Wow.
And you feel this like deep, deep, deep connection to everything.
Everything,
at that moment. And you, Gianinni as a person, doesn't exist. It's a construct.
Right.
It was given to you.
Right.
You know, the culture, your parents.
Yes.
But the body knows. It's in the body. It's called samadhi. Check it.
Samadhi. Wow.
Samadhi. It's a deep,
amazing,
deep concept that comes from yoga tradition.
Yes.
It's that focus.
Wow.
It's the complete and utter focus that nothing matters in that moment. And that's presence.
Yes, presence. Exactly.
It's presence, complete presence, you know, aanwezigheid. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing is that social media is dangerous in that thing, that what it created was avatars. Because it created avatars, you know, like
of ourselves,
I am this and ta 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 ta. And if that doesn't get if it doesn't reverberate with others, it means that that avatar is worthless. And if you connect yourself
to the avatar,
the self-esteem to the
I'm
avatar,
worthless.
I am worthless.
Wow.
That's why balance is so important.
Yes.
People that that's another thing about social media is like, as a content creator, there's a very, let's say, it gets completely mixed up when you are using it as a creator or as a consumer, you know? Because if you're a creator, you know, post and ghost yourself, like post and go away and forget about it.
Yep.
I think that this is a healthier way of consuming it, because if you also post and you also consume the thing and you catch yourself in the comparisons and you catch yourself with who has more, and then you understand there are people, I can tell you, musicians, they make clowns of themselves just for likes. They make complete clowns of themselves. Wow. And you're like, okay, is it really what you want?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, my son, I have two kids. I have a son who's 13 and I have a kid who's almost 6. The 13-year-old is completely embroiled in this.
In the social media, yeah.
And it's like, you know, you should do this and make a funny thing and like a pop song and this. And I'm like, eh. And I did one of Sabrina Carpenter and it got like 1,000-something likes. And I was like, this is what I want. I mean, this is, and I had like a social media manager at some point. She was like, you have to do this and that. And I felt burnt out at some point. Then I felt that it's kind of like, it doesn't end. The beast has to be fed constantly. I can tell you with this podcast, we have a whole streamlined system with AI systems that are cutting it and putting it online. And we have an intern. I mean, I spoke about many times. Joshua, you're the man. But it's like, also, I don't check it because it will fuck me up.
Right.
I'm just like, but I see that it's growing and I'm like,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, don't get high on your own supply, they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's interesting because it's something that in today's world, you know, I mean, yes, you can avoid it, but you can use it as a great tool. I think if you when you spoke about balance earlier, I think that's what it is. You know, I try my best to it's like this balance of producing versus consuming. And I had to have this conversation with myself.
Everybody.
Most people in the world, right? I'm just kind of very broad speaking, consume. And that's actually only a small percentage that produces.
Yeah.
So I had to tell myself, like, in what camp do I want to be in? I want to be in the producing camp. If that means I need to be producing more than consuming more.
Yeah.
And it's very that balance for me. It's like, okay, nothing wrong with consuming, obviously. We all do it, whether it's, you know, social media scrolling, whether it's, you know, watching movies, music for inspiration. I need it. I need also to kind of give me that flame. But then what do I do with that? Do I just doom scroll as a zombie, or do I take that and be like, okay, I had my little 30-minute guilty pleasure. Okay, cool. You know, and if you can find a balance as a content creator, as an artist, I think that's when you really can focus.
Yeah.
So I think that is very important as an artist for me. Consume a little bit, produce way more than consuming.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm focusing on that really. Yeah. This was great, man.
Man, bro, it was great having you, man.
We should do a part 2.
Yeah, of course. Now of course. You're more here, right?
Yeah, I'm more here. I'm always in and out, but next time
I would love to, yeah.
Yeah,
of course,
because right now we had the whole journey. So next time we can talk about life more and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I love it.
Of course, man. And I would we're going to expand also the podcast to like a live show also.
Amazing.
And we would love to have you as a guest, like to show your work also like live.
Oh, great!
Like with the audience, we're building it now. It's like with the stichting and everything, you know.
Nice.
So it's like, because I can tell you that my identity was so like connected to the musician. I need to be successful and everybody give me respect and this. And then I started making this podcast, and I was like, I want to be a better person.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. But look, like, that's amazing.
I was not nice. I can tell you that. I was so focused on getting validated by specific like cuts of society, let's say, that I completely neglected other aspects
didn't care
of
about the
myself.
rest. Yeah.
And now just being a nice person and like knowing who I am better, because I come in contact with such different people and have like deep, intense conversations with them. You understand that there's like, you know, being a better person and being like a good human is so much more than high-fiving, because, you know, it's just a thing you do. It's just a thing you do. Really.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thank you.
Giannini, thank you so
I'll be
much.
back. I'll be back. Thank
sure,
you, man. I'll be back for sure. Awesome.
For
awesome.
Sure. Thank you so much. Joao, thank you also, the producer here. Yes. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us here into The Score. We're going to see you at the next one. Like, subscribe, do the whole thing, the franchising, you know, liking, and you know how it works. And we will see you at the dance floor.